I really wanted to come on here today for a few reasons. One is that I'm checking in to see how y'all doing. The energy has been a lot ever since the full moon. Yet again, we are in an intensity. Like the fire just keeps getting turned up for some of us in many, many ways. And I want to say that if it's getting turned up for you, it's on purpose. You are on purpose, and it is not for nothing. Um, Sometimes in these times where it feels like all these things are happening, and especially if they're happening in our lives and to our bodies and our beings and our personal relationships, whatever it is, it can feel so personal. And in some ways it is, and in some ways it's not personal. It's literally the flow of the universe and things happening in your favor, even when they're hard, especially when they're hard and difficult. That's something that I think most people have a hard time understanding, at least here on Earth, that it's actually for you, even when it's hard. And I don't come from this place of sitting on a cloud and having things like very floofy and fluffy, like, yes, I live in realms where I can go to higher dimensions and I just feel the immense love and I feel the immense peace and I meet with other beings and I'm like, oh, this is how it is, of course. And then I'm dropped quickly on my head back to earth, right? Because I'm also here to help with the collective, as many of us are. So in that ushering and guiding and doulaing of healing of the collective, of elevating to the collective, I'm also very human in it. I'm very much a part of it. I am not excluded from it or have a special pass because of what I do. No, it is for me in the same way that death will be for me, right? Death will come for everyone. It will come for me too. And I think that's really important to remember in these times, that we're not alone in what we're experiencing, especially if you're feeling it right now. There are big, big energies about release, about letting go. And the image I get right now from my guides is like this swirling that's been happening for 14 years plus around something, some pattern, some person, some experience, some place, whatever it is. This lesson that kind of keeps oscillating in your life is coming to a tipping point, right? It's coming to a place of like, got to make a change, got to do something different. This isn't working. And it can feel really high stakes because it is. Because it is. Because you're being asked to go into a new arena now that you've never been in before. So that's just sort of the overview of the energy that we're going into. And what does that mean that's coming with? A whole lot of death, a whole lot of dying away and letting those things compost and then become fertile soil for something else, right? And I get this question a lot too. Ash, do I have to really let it die? Can I just like kind of tend it? It's going to be different for everyone, right? What I'm talking about specifically is this energy that some of us are feeling around. This isn't our first rodeo with this thing. We know what it is. We're very clear on what it is. We can identify it. We can name it, but we haven't really dealt with it. We haven't really gone there. We haven't really said the words. We haven't really released ourselves into the fullest liberation about it. That there, yes, right? For most of us, it's going to be something from years. We're like, oh, this thing again, oh, this thing again, oh, this thing again, oh, I wish it would just go away, right? It's not going to go away. It's going to come closer and closer to you until it's front and center, and then it's going to lock eyes. Right? And it's not moving until you meet it with love, with compassion, with tenderness, with grace, with grief, whatever the process is that needs to happen. This is this time right now. Because on the other side of that, when we leave this energy in this coming week, this next week, it's going to be an opening of something. Right? It's still kind of being like, ouch, ouch, ouch. Wow, that was really hard. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I finally said that. I can't believe I finally made that move. I can't believe I finally did that thing that I been saying I've wanted to do, whatever it is. There's going to be this sense of vulnerability, perhaps tenderness, right? Like, ooh, I'm naked. I'm a new baby. Just came out of the womb. What does this mean now? Who am I? What does my life mean now, right? And there's also possibility. There's also expansion that's coming. There's also newness. There's also huge thresholds of opening. There's also entirely new directions. My spirit guides right now show me a million different paths laid out, right? And choosing which one we actually want to go down and which one benefits our highest good, our highest nature, right? And when we choose paths like that, we also affect the collective. We also affect the highest possible love and healing for the entire planet. That's what we're about right now. Like I say in many videos, it's not about the I, it's about the we. We are entering into that fifth dimension right now, which is not some esoteric place that's like outside of ourselves. It's right here, right now. It's right here, right? The crunchier things become, the more intense and violent they become, that's when we know is breaking through. Because on the other side of that darkness is also the light. The light has to come with the darkness. They are not separate. There is no just light. Are there planes of existence not on Earth that are just light? Yes, absolutely. We are not in it right now. We're not in it right now. We're not in it. We've been there, some of us. Some of us, that's our home, right? We know that place real well. That's why it's really hard to be here. Speaking from experience. We know it, right? We know what that all-encompassing agape, bigger than words can even express kind of love is, right? But we're placed here to bring down that seed, to bring down that beam of light, to bring down our piece to the puzzle of this whole cosmic play, right? So we need the darkness and we need the light. Right? We cannot have one without the other. And I get questions around this all the time. What do you mean? Like, so there always has to be like death, destruction, violence, and, disasters, things happening for us to come to the light. And what I'm saying to you is yes. In this time and in this iteration of Earth. Will it always have to be that way at which the consciousness of creation is knowing itself? No. No. But in this existence, this is how we are knowing ourselves, which in turn is the collective consciousness, which has no shape, no form, no name, really is understanding itself. It's through us. Right? So, yes, that is what is existence now. But the now isn't even now because there is no time and space. So it's always changing, which is hopeful, right? For some of us who are like, I don't want violence. I don't like pain. I don't like suffering. I don't like darkness. I don't like anything. But what we don't understand is that when there is darkness, and when I say darkness, I mean the absence of light, much like space, right? When you go into deep, deep space, they have these giant telescopes and things that they've shown us in space, and these black holes that are just like beautiful black, right? Black, beautiful black. So black, we don't even know what that kind of color is. It's so beautiful, right? And so there inevitably is this fear around the dark, the black, the evil, the demonic, whatever you want to call it, right? And what I'm here to tell you is that the darkness is coming because it wants to become the light. The darkness is here because it wants to transform into the light. Right? And the more potential for that to be possible, the more it's going to come. And this is like next level stuff, y'all, that I've been getting downloaded for many years about this time. And it started in 2020. Those downloads that I were getting were not pretty. They were not pleasant. I didn't necessarily want to know them, but they were coming in because I didn't know that I was a channel for the collective. I didn't know that my role was to share what was coming through me as a way to prepare and a way to support and as a way to guide others. I did not know. I just thought, wow, this is really intense information. Why am I seeing this right now, right? And everything has come true since those, right? So in the darkness, there is creation. There is possibility because the light hasn't been created yet. Because there hasn't been a closing off of anything because it's infinitely dark. We don't know, right? We think of dark. There's such a spectrum here. So I'm talking about a million different things really in this time, but I'm gonna like pinpoint it, right? If we think about the dark, when we think about death, we think about dark. It's scary, right? When we think about racism and we think about someone was dark skinned and someone goes, yikes, that's scary, right? They're racist, right? There's this implicit bias around dark, anything dark, as evil, as scary. When people see ravens, right? Or anything dark, they think it's terrifying and scary. They don't even really know why. They just think it is, and it's a curse, right? And what I have found as someone who works with the dark and the light, literally, in the work that I do every day, is that we need the darkness to understand the light, and we need the light to understand the darkness. We are not separate from it, right? We are not separate from it. And in that way, it is not to be feared, but understood, right? This is why we have huge natural disasters happen and then people come together, right? This has historically been true since the beginning of time. People come together, they help each other, they see the devastation, the loss, they rally, they fundraise, they cook food, they take care of each other, they check on neighbors, they're talking. We saw this in the pandemic. Why is it, right? When the darkness comes, all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, grab our community. We need each other. When really, we need each other all the time. And the systems at B will make us think that we don't need anyone and that we can stay in our individual bubbles and pods, right? And they've done a damn good job doing that thus far, in keeping us separate and keeping us individualized and keeping us in our own little everything. We all have our own everything, right? But I can't tell you how many people I work with who tell me I have everything on my own and I feel so alone, so unfulfilled, and so depressed. I feel like something deep is missing in my life and it's other people and I have no idea how to start. I don't know how to connect. I don't even know where to begin because I've lived this way for so long, right? Our deepest wound is our disconnection. Our deepest wound collectively is our disconnection, right? When we actually tap in together and face what is happening together, we become united, right? We become together, we become as one, we become the we again, right? And because of the collective consciousness currently on the planet, right? And this doesn't mean every single person. There are varying level degrees of consciousness, of course, right? Of course, everyone's at a different degree. There's no less or better than. Just like the other side, there's different levels and degrees. There's no less and better than. They all come with different learnings, difficulties, challenges, beauties, love, like all these different things that come with them. It's the same here, just in a different form. So in that way, we're all operating in these different frequencies, these different vibrations, right? And so, because we are a we are a breathing collective we, actually. We are not separate little individuals, even though we look like that, right? the collective kind of like rounds up, if you will. We're doing like a math problem right now, which like, I'm horrible at math. I don't know why I'm talking about math, but this is where my guides are taking me right now. If we were to do a math problem, we're just like rounding up. They're taking the sum total of the collective, right? The sum total of the collective is still at a point where violence is the way that we learn that we do not want that, right? Where devastation is still the place that we learn, oh my gosh, wow, that is harmful. That is out of integrity. That is out of, that is not okay, right? Or we are not okay. Or the climate is collapsing, so this natural disaster happened, right? Oh, it's really bad. I guess it's really bad. I didn't realize how serious this issue was, right? And some might ask, but why, Ash? Why does it take us this much war, violence, genocide, separation, just utter destruction for us to come back online? And I'm going to say, I don't know all the answers. But what I'm hearing right now is that we are at a place where we don't believe in our goodness and our grace. We don't know yet how powerful and beautiful and lovable and brilliant we are. And we don't know that because of the energetic powers at B, right? That are distracting us constantly 24/7 to try to tell us who we are. Social media, the news, the internet. I mean, the rush, the no time, the job, the hours that go. This, then you'll be happy, then you'll retire, then you'll have this, then you'll have that. It is nonstop. It is nonstop. I can't get on anywhere without some ad that's been targeted at me to be shown in multiple places all over my technology, right? That is intense messaging. And that is intense distraction, right? Taking us away from our own power, our own light, and our own love and care for each other, right? This need for greed, for more money, more power, right? These are the top things right now that are creating havoc. But when we stop and we say no more, shut it down, right? When we choose radical acts of shifting things in our day-to-day lives, and our day-to-day patterns, and our day-to-day things that have been ingrained inside our brains and bodies, we start to wake up and we start to see the bigger picture. We start to come back online and we start to notice that what is happening over here in this war, right? And the wars around the world have directly to do with us. And I'm not talking about shame or blame. Nope. This is radical accountability and waking up to what is, right? This is not getting stuck in like, oh, I'm a terrible person. No, this isn't. No, we're not even going. No, that's not true, right? What's true is that we've been distracted away from our own goodness, from our own grace. And in that distraction, we've been fed all these little seeds of untrueness. And we believe them, whether we know it or not, right? And then when something so massive happens, we either get numb to it or we can't even believe how something like that would happen, right? We can't even believe it. We can't? We can. If we sit long enough and slow down, right, deep enough, we'll start to feel things about this time and about what's happening that are also true within us, right? What's happening in the minds and the hearts of people who are killing other people for sake of their religious beliefs, or even their children or their families on behalf of them, is hard to understand, right? When you haven't met the darkness within yourself. And I want to be clear. I'm not saying what's happening right now is okay. It is horrifying. It is absolutely horrifying. It is like the worst of humanity being witnessed, right? What I am saying is that I know the violence in me that could have been that person, and why and where it might have come from. Let me tell you a story. When I was younger, and I was about 14, 15, I lived with my stepmom and my dad. And my parents were divorced, and I was mainly with my stepmom and my dad, which was not the ideal situation because my stepmom was highly abusive to me emotionally and neglected me in many ways as a child. From 3 years old to 15, I was highly neglected and highly abused. All I wanted was her love. All I wanted was her love. I would literally hurt myself physically to get that love. Literally, right? It took me 25 years of therapy to work through all that. After many years, from 3 to 15, of her intense energy of oppression, of her silencing me, of her leaving me home alone on family trips, of being completely left out on family events because she didn't want me there, of psychologically messing with me and telling me all these horrible things that my mother, that my loved ones did to me as a child. After all this manipulation, I snapped. And at first, I snapped in the way of wanting to take my own life, right? And luckily, my mom, who's an angel, said, no, I would really, really miss you if you left. And so I didn't do it. I stopped the attempt and I stayed here in this life, in this existence, even though it was excruciating every moment to be in that house with her, right? And then the next thing that came over me was rage. Now, I didn't know that at 15. I didn't know what rage was. But I would hold everything in, and then I would get into my room and just be full of anger and rage. And when I tell you that I had the thought to hurt her, to physically hurt her, because I wanted her to stop hurting me, that was real. That was the violence in me that I didn't even think was possible for me to mentally get to after 15 years of abuse. I did not think that was possible. And yet I got there, right? I got there. I was willing to fight to get out of that house and to hurt her in that process, right? For my own life, for my existence, and for protection of myself. This is what I'm talking about. This time is for dropping in and not othering, right? I'm asking you to hold multiple paradoxes here because this is what we're entering into. This is what we're entering into. We are acknowledging the darkness within us. And we are understanding how this all is happening. It is not a surprise, y'all. It doesn't just get there. It is generations of this, right? And then the ingrainedness of snapping, right? I invite you in this time to really take a look, to really sit with those uncomfortable feelings and even moments in your life of aggression, right? Of intensity, of, wow, I really scared myself there, right? Because when we're really honest with the energies at play here, we can integrate them with love. We can be compassionate with ourselves, and we can hold the compassion for the collective deeper, wider, and stronger with each other. This is the next evolution in humanity. It is learning from what we have collectively done that is playing out in the world and the wide energies that are happening right now. We have the power to shift this. We have the power to envision an entirely different humanity and collective that doesn't even need to go there, because we know so deeply our shadows. We know so deeply our pain. And we have moved and have relationship, just like grief, of letting it come out, right? And not stamping it down, which what does it do? Explodes. So I invite you in this time to really, really sit with the beautiful darkness and ask it why it's here, what it has to teach you, and what you can learn from it, right? You might think of it as space. You might think of it as the cosmos in the sky. You might think of it as a giant black hole, whatever it is, right? But the energy that is blackness, that just is. It isn't labeled anything yet. It isn't formed in anything yet. It is. I'm sending you all so much love, so much grace, so much compassion in this time for yourself, for others. And if you want to go even deeper into this space, into this energy of death, into what it is to truly liberate, to truly expand into the beautiful darkness, to be able to be not afraid, but to know that it is part of the creation of everything. And that actually you telling your story of your death is the biggest gift that you can give, right? Not only does it bring more aliveness to your life and moment to moment, but actually expands the consciousness forward for us all, right? We will be gathering for Storing Your Death workshop soon. Spaces are limited and they are going quickly. Join us if you're ready to set sail on this voyage and go even deeper than we've just gone now. It is time. It is a time of facing what is within us, facing fears, and actually coexisting and transforming with the energies that are at hand, right? This is what it's about. You ready? If you want to find out how to join us, you can click the link in my bio. You can find the link on my Instagram at the Sovereign Spirit Medium. And you can also find it at thesovereignspiritmedium.com to register. And we can't wait to have you. Can't wait to have you join us in this sacred, sacred witnessing of what is our death, what is our life, and what it is to live in between the both, right? And actually face this energy head on with love, with compassion, with grace, and with uttermost tenderness for ourselves and for each other as a community. I love you all so much. Take care, be well, and I'll see you on the other side.